Hello, I'm Veronica, and I wanted you to know that until not too long ago, I had zero succulents, but now I seem to have amassed about 200 of them. So today, I'm going to show you how I made my first ever succulent garden. So I used this Miracle-Gro cactus, palm, and succulent potting mix, which provides great drainage. Better Grow orchid bark, which I'll be adding to the potting mix. Some Miracle-Gro perlite, which I'll add as well. These heavy ass little pebbles for decoration. This terracotta pot that is wide and relatively shallow and will provide great drainage and aeration. These sanitized shears. Some gloves with a rubber coating, very important. And a watering can. I'm looking really happy to be making this arrangement right now, but that will change in a few minutes. So, as I said, I'm using a potting mix that is made specifically for succulents because this mix provides great aeration and drainage and prevents the succulents from rotting easily. Even though that is the case, I live in Florida and it rains a lot here, so I decided to add a few amendments to the soil to provide even more drainage and aeration capacity. I'll be adding in a small amount of perlite, which is heated volcanic glass that is commonly used to improve drainage and aeration and helps prevent the soil from compaction. And I also added some orchid bark, which is the potting medium used to grow orchids, hence the name, and I mixed them both in as well as possible. As you can see, I'm having the time of my life. Now, I wasn't flashing you a peace sign, I was trying to tell you that I'm going to start off with 2 inches of potting soil or 3 centimeters for literally everyone that doesn't live in the US. Now, I took a deep breath because life is stressful, and I prepared the first succulents I was going to use. I squeezed the plastic pot all the way around to loosen things up, and I carefully grabbed the base of the plant, wiggled a bit, and gently slid the plant out. As you can see, there are 3 cacti, so I had to slowly separate them and take off some of the old soil from the roots. So in my head, I call this technique tickling the butt, which I realize makes me sound like a pervert, pero bueno, ¿qué le voy a hacer? Look how cute this little guy is. I'm putting him here for now, and I repeated the process 2 more times. Throughout the video, you'll see me using this little brush, which is basically a makeup brush, to brush off the potting mix from the succulents and to keep everything nice and clean. I then thought about what placement would work best. Then I paused dramatically for a second and thought deeply about what succulents I was going to add to the arrangement, and I settled on this beauty. I smiled for a quick second, but then fear struck my heart, as you can see reflected in my face. I gently squeezed the pot all the way around to loosen the soil, and then instantly regretted my decisions as I wiggled the plant out of the pot. I picked up the cactus and it stabbed me, and I laugh at my stupidity. I then tickle this plant's butt to loosen the soil. Also, I wanted to mention that these flowers are fake and are glued on at the nurseries, which I'm totally against, but wanted to show you so you could avoid purchasing them. Here I realized I got duped by the final piece because it was completely dry and didn't have root. I tried to grab the pot and instantly got stabbed, and that is the face of someone in pain. As you can see, I suddenly realized that my gloves were absolutely covered in glochids, which is the name for the needles of a cactus. I tried to muscle through, but I couldn't deal with the stabbing pain, and I thought, wow, you're such a genius, hence the face. I seemed to think that my fingers were invincible, so I tried again, but quickly realized that I was incredibly mistaken, and I finally changed my gloves. Hello? Okay, so now I started to put the cacti in their place by adding more potting mix and gently pressing down and just repeating this process. I also used a spoon to help me get the soil exactly where I needed it, and I'm sorry, Mom, for using your spoon, but I promise I put it back where it belongs. At least I think I did. Yeah, so this is what it looked like. I went to grab this guy again, but I was afraid. So I used my brain for a sec, and I realized that it'd be easier if I used the spoon. I made a little hole with the spoon and placed this guy right in and covered the roots with soil. I wanted to show you my progress, but then this happened. So I had to laugh at myself so I wouldn't cry. I secured the cactus in place, and I felt pretty good with my progress, so I did my happy dance. I then repeated the process with the smaller guy, and I felt even more proud of my progress. So naturally, I had to do another dance. I kept the search for the perfect fit, decided on this guy, squeezed the pot, popped him right out, loosened up the soil, and tickled the butt. You get it by now. I dug another little hole and placed the succulent in, and I used the spoon to add the soil. Look how beautiful this is and how proud of myself I am. My goodness. I'm still repeating the same process, so I'm not going to insult your intelligence or mine by repeating myself for the 10th time, but I did want to point something out. So you may or may not have noticed that I've been referring to everything as succulents, including the cacti. And this is because all cacti are succulents, but not all succulents are cacti. Did that confuse you? Because I definitely had to think about that for a sec when I first read it. So yeah, fun fact. Or maybe it's just fun for me. Who knows? I also think it's pretty funny that I thought that you'd be able to see what I was showing you, even though I was fully aware that the sun was quickly setting, as you'll see by the lighting change, but I still give myself an A+ for effort. But I guess I never mentioned that I started recording at like 5 p.m. and the sun was setting at like 5:15 at the time, so I'm not trying to brag or anything, but obviously I'm like super smart. I used the little brush to dust off all the extra potting mix. Added some more soil. Look at that smile on my face. I'm clearly very impressed with my work. Okay, so finally, I'm almost done with this project, and it was time for me to add those heavy-ass little pebbles to cover all of the potting soil and make it look, fancy, sexy, professional. Here's the final product. I'm very impressed, if you couldn't tell by my face, and I think it looks absolutely beautiful, and it was worth the stabbing pain from earlier. So finally, I gave it a thorough watering, and here we have it in all its glory. Thanks so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!